I'm back. Hopefully this is going to be better. It looks like it's better already. It looks alright still. It looks alright. Hello. It does mess with the raffle entries, I'm afraid, guys. Yeah, it has messed with the raffle entries. So if anyone wants to re-enter, you can do now. So !Modo. Not better. I think this is a Twitch issue, guys. It's absolutely fine from my end. It's not looking like I've got any issues whatsoever here. Yeah, need to re-enter. It genuinely looks like this is a Twitch issue, not my issue. I've got no slowdown in terms of the upload from my machine. It looks like it's when I'm watching the stream, I can see exactly what you guys are seeing. I hope you can hear this. OBS is telling me I've dropped one frame. Yeah, I think it's a Twitch issue, not a... You can all hear me clearly? Good, good, okay. As I say, it doesn't look like it's a my upload issue. It looks like it's a Twitch issue. As I say, my upload has been stable at between, well, 58,045 and 58,090 kbps. There's been no change to that upload. So it looks like it's on the Twitch side of things. Hopefully that's all right now. Let me know if there's any issues with it again, guys. Lots of pings there. Yeah, guys, because I stopped streaming and restarted, please re-enter. Talisman says, I show you transcoding so people can knock themselves down to 160p. Oh, right, okay. Just got a lot better. Yeah, it seems to be a Twitch issue, guys. My upload is fine. There's no issues with that at all. It's telling me that everything is going through to Twitch okay. So hopefully that's all right. Yeah, I'll share the enter list because of that. But guys, if you want to re-enter, I've got 40 eligible users at the minute. And as I say, that's to buy. Remember, buy the final Modern Dolch set. Okay, that's my notification for something else. But 46 eligible users, so people can buy the Modern Dolch set. I'm just being clear that everyone looks at it. Okay, so it seems more stable now. Okay, good. Do hit me up, guys. There's lots of pings saying at Top Clack. I can see them a little bit easier than anything else, so do let me know if it drops again. But it does look like it was a Twitch issue, not an upload issue. Yeah, we were supposed to enter. Yeah, I've turned. Do you know what? I'm going to turn off the thing that stops the spam. Hold on. Okay, alright, okay. So, I'm going to turn off the anti-spam. Okay, so I've turned off the anti-spam. So, if you have already entered, just do it again to make sure. Everyone type in !Modo if you want to win the opportunity to buy the final stock set from Dixie Mech at $140. Bloody technology causing us these problems. So, just do it anyway, guys. If you still want that opportunity to buy that set, do it anyway. Get your entries back in. Because that reset it as well. So go for that, guys. !Modo. Everyone's doing it in chat. I can see it going there. We're all good. There we go. Okay, so where I got to, guys, is I was just about to check that we'd got our stabilizers in the correct spot. So as you can see, everything's looking good from that perspective. I'm just going to line this up to another board. That looks okay. And then I'm just going to make sure that these go in the correct spots. And then we've got 3-1U there. Okay, so as you can see, guys, that looks like it's all going to be aligned nicely. The 7U spacebar will sit just in there. I don't have one to hand, but we'll be showing the set off later on that it's going to go on. Yeah, the last set at group by price is the very last set, yeah, at group by price, yeah, as Dixie says. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to build the board. That's going to be the bottom row. I know they're the wrong keys. We will be using a set that Ahab sent for the board in the end, but as you can see, that's how it's going to go. So in terms of that, I'm just going to push these switches in, make sure that they're nicely into the plate. I hope I've got them the right way around. Double check they're right. Okay, so it needs to move over a slight bit. Okay, so that looks good there. Slightly bent pin. Okay. And then we get this last switch in here. There we go. So that's going to be the bottom row that we're going to go with. I'm going to start to put some of the rest of these switches in. I'm just going to put one up in this corner up here. Gosh, this plate's tight. It's going to be one where I break my thumbs as well as my hands on the weight of the board. We'll just work our way across the board now. Making sure that we get each pin in place. Making sure everything is nice and flush. Holding it together nice and neatly. Some of these pins have just got bent, some of these switches have just got bent pins in the transfer, shipping or whatever. So there we go, that's all looking good there. Put one down here. Get a couple in the middle. Okay, so that's all looking good. Start to flesh out the rest of the board now. Start from the middle and work our way out. These are quite tight, so I just want to make sure they're going in properly in the middle. Try and catch up with chat. Careful there aren't that many extra switches. No, we're all good. Even if we break one, I've got a couple of creams we can put in if we need to. But it is a very tight plate. Almost as tight as the Pandas into a single plate, actually. Which is smoother? Lube creams or lubed GAT yellows. GAT yellows probably smoother, but they have a very different sound profile. These are POM on POM. I suspect these will be better over time. These will probably have a bit better wearing. Okay, everything going in much easier now. Now we've got a few going. Double check they're all in. Yep. Everything going in, holding nicely in place. So we know how the bottom row is going to go now as well, which is always useful. Pop one in for the ANSI enter. And pop one just up here as well. This one's wanted to pull off center. There we go. Shouldn't need to use any of your extra switches unless we've got a problem with them once they're soldered in. Ahab, I think we'll be okay on that perspective. Liar, the single plate is way tighter. Yeah, I said they're almost as tight as the single plate. It's not quite as tight. It's not that bad. I'm not lying. It is still really tight. I can still feel the pressure on my thumb. You can kind of see that I've got an imprint already of the key switches from pushing these in, so it is quite tight. But you're right. The single plate is one of the tightest plates I've ever had the pleasure of building. Single plate triggered. Yeah, Querdenker, I know you had a problem with yours as well. You had the same problem I did. I know Nathan, Tehe Types, if Nathan's watching, I know he's had a problem doing his builds as well. Some of the single plates. Oh, see, that one was really tight. Some of these are up and down. Some of them are tighter than others. There we go. LMNO says, do you offer a building service? I do sometimes build for other people, but not very often. 90% of the build streams I do are for my boards. As you can see, I've got a fair collection here and plenty more in the... There's like an ottoman down here as well that's full of boards and stuff. And I keep some in storage in my storage unit as well. I tend to build my own boards. I'm only really building this one because it's such a special board, and it's you know, it's something unique, something that you don't see. Being solid brass and weighing 10 kilograms or more, it's just a unique opportunity to build something that's that different to what's normally out there. So it's absolutely something that I wanted to do. Nathan almost had to break the single plate on stream. Yeah, it's been like 2 months since I built a single PTSD. I have a permanent dead spot on my thumb from putting Holy Pandas into the last singer that I built. It was really, really tight. It's not getting them out that's the problem, Ahab. My polysinger's here. This is mine. That's got tangerines in, but the one that I built with Holy Pandas, when I desoldered that, it was easier to desolder and remove the switches from than it was to put them in the first place. And Talisman's gifted a tier 1 sub to Keepology. They've given 133 gift subs in the channel, so thank you very much for that. We need a switch presser. Yes, that's absolutely something that we need. A switch presser. Almost like a pair of pliers that we can push them in with. That'd be great. Someone please invent them. 3D printable, if possible. Now, one thing I did notice, Ahab, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but there was no specific switch for the spacebar. So I assume you want the same weighting on your spacebar as on the rest of your switches. Just use the back of a screwdriver. I don't want to break my screwdrivers. Do you use QMK for this board you're building? If so, what are some tips? I tried to flash a DZ60 RGB and had major issues. Make sure you're flashing the right hex file. That's the main thing. If you're using the wrong hex file, you'll have problems. But you shouldn't really have any issues at all with QMK as long as you're flashing the right file for the right board. Let's finish this beer. Okay, we're going step caps as well. That's what Ahab's asked for, step caps, which is the only caps in my opinion. Oh, is the DZ60 not RGB? RGB not QMK? Oh, right, I thought it was. I know some of the DZ60s are. Oh, the RGB would not turn off when you PC would go to sleep. Yeah, with some QMK boards it doesn't. Okay, guys, that's all the switches in. As you can see, we're nice and even on all of the sides. None of the switches are pulling away, apart from that one. There we go. All nice and neatly pressed together. No bowing in the PCB, no bowing in the plate. Everything is looking good. In terms of the 7U spacebar, I think it's dead center. Let's check and find out. Let's just double make sure. Let me just click somewhere that's not going to hurt if I pull my spacebar off. Okay, so that is in the wrong spot. Making sure that we've got this in the right space. So as you can see, that's where everything lines up. All looking good from that perspective. I'll put that together there. Okay, great. So that's the board all ready for soldering. I'm going to get my soldering iron together. Straight Classy, will you double check if I'm in the list? Well, welcome back, Straight Classy. Apologies for any of the issues. You are not in the list, so please re-enter. We did have to turn the stream off and back on again, so please re-enter if that's the case. Okay, so we're ready to solder the board now. So I'm just going to flip this over, bring my solder reel into play. Fair bit of soldering to do on this board. Basically what we're going to try and do is do one in each corner, a couple in the centre, and then we'll just go row by row until we've go all the way down. Panda says, do you get kicked if the stream restarts? Yeah, if I restart the stream it would do. If you left and came back it wouldn't, but if I stop the stream and start it again, then yes, it does reset. So it's all re-enabled. It's still exclamation mark modo. You can enter multiple times now and it still just gives you one entry. I've turned the spam protection off just because I don't have time to check if everyone's in the list. So just double check and by re-entering, that's the way to do it. So if you're not sure if you've been entered, just hit exclamation mark modo, type it in again, re-enter, and remember this is to buy the final set at group by price on Dixie Store. Everyone starts again. Yeah, well, I'd rather people were in it and not. It's a shame we've had the Twitch difficulties we've had. Okay, I'm just going to do one in each corner, and then we're going to do a couple in the centre, and then we'll go from there. Okay, come back up to this top corner now. Down to the bottom corner, and then we'll do a couple in the middle, and then we'll just go row by row, and then we can start to see how this is going to fit into the larger case itself, which is going to be a bit of a challenge, I suspect, trying to do that without getting fingerprints all over it. And we'll also just test the board very quickly as well before we do that, make sure everything's working once it's soldered together. Okay, there we go. Exclamation point modo. Yes, that's the code. What did I even enter for? It's the opportunity to buy the final set at group by price of Modern Dolch on Dixie Mech. Yeah, just keep entering if you're not sure. Enter a couple of times. I'd rather people spam chat a little bit than didn't get to enter if they really want to. But just make sure you don't go nuts with it, guys. Okay. It is frustrating when Twitch gives us technical problems like it did earlier, but hopefully you guys are able to confirm that everything's looking okay now. Okay. Let's try and take it steady with this soldering. Some boards take solder really easily, some boards don't. This seems to be one that's going to take a little while longer to solder, but we'll be alright, we'll get there. Just working our way along nice and slow. Try not to linger over to any single switch too long. Waiting for it to flow down and then moving on to the next one. The bot commands for this channel are, oh yeah, sorry, there's a few bots there. Is it buy win? Yeah, it's the opportunity to buy the last set, not to win the last set. Just to be really clear. Will my entry be removed if I leave the stream? And when will the draw happen? The draw happened at some point during the stream. I haven't decided when yet. We'll see. Never bought a GMK set before. I'll back out on this one. Seems too many crazy fans for the set. Yeah, there's a lot of people that really want the set. It's been doing really well in group buy, and then it's been sought after in the aftermarket. But it is a very, very attractive set. I'm really happy with mine. I've got mine on my Brutal 60, which I showed earlier on stream. What soldering iron are you using and how much was it? This is a TS100 soldering iron. I got mine from Amazon in the UK. I think it was £60, so about $75-ish, give or take. Okay, almost done with this first layer now, guys. Hopefully no more Twitch Monday night incidents. Tips on soldering: take it slow. Take it really, really slow. That's the trick. So you don't want to go too fast. All you want to do is you want to heat the pin and the pad together, and as you're heating the pin and the pad, you want to tap the soldering iron with a bit of solder. You can then almost watch it flow down. It's very hard for you guys to see on camera, but you can see it flow down the pin. It takes a couple of seconds at most. Try not to linger on a switch for more than 4 or 5 seconds. You can generally tell if you're overheating it because the PCB starts to get some heat damage, but it's just being really, really careful in that respect. And if you're ever not sure, the best thing to do is just to lift off, let it cool down, and then come back to it again in a few minutes time. No need to rush jobs like this. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more practice you get, the better you become at it. But there's no need to rush. It's easier to fix a problem if you slow down than it is to undo a problem once you've made it. So always take it steady and slow. Okay, how far do you have to solder the wire to know it's done correctly? All we're doing is basically putting a bit of solder on there. So as soon as it looks like a teardrop shape on flowing down the pin on the switch, then you know it's done. You can kind of see that it makes like an upside down tear shape, or the bottom of a heart almost. You can tell it's like that. If it rounds off and balls off, then it sometimes leaves a cold solder. Plus they're less attractive. Sometimes they work and they're just fine. I have got one that's gone like that just up in this corner, which I'll try and fix after the stream. But that's just because some PCBs take solder differently to others. A lot of it's just being patient and just knowing when to reflow the solder, when to add more solder when it's doing its job. It's just practice, really. A nice little mountain or hill of solder. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Do we have to re-enter the giveaway since 1340? WX LKE, just re-go for it, just re-enter it. I've turned the anti-spam thing off, so there's 48 people eligible at the minute. So just re-go for it, guys. That's the way to do it. But the command's the same, exclamation mark modo. And it's just because I had to turn the stream off due to some technical difficulties with Twitch, and then restart the stream a second or so later. Okay, making some progress now, guys. Almost through the second row. Okay, once we're doing this row, then we'll start to work our way down the next row. Hopefully it won't take too long. And then the last row, the spacebar row, won't take too long at all because it's really short. So hopefully we're about halfway through realistically in terms of time of soldering now. I hear it. It's the solder screaming in pain. It's just the soldering iron. It's feedback off the soldering iron. It's fine. It's one of those things. Little tiny squeaks. A lot of it's just heat. Oh, the other thing you can probably hear is my phone going nuts in the background as well. I do need a new tip for my soldering iron as well. It's something I'm going to have to buy. But we'll be alright. It will more than last through this stream just fine. I think I meant to. Don't want to type again. No, you can type it again. I've turned the anti-spam off, Walker, so you can go again. It's fine. You won't be discounted even if you enter 10 times, but please don't do that. Once more is fine, just for the sake of making sure you're in. But as long as people aren't spamming it overly, then we're good. It doesn't matter how many times you type it in, you only get one entry anyway. It just saves me checking everyone's entries to make sure they're actually in. Okay. Almost through this row. And then, come on. I'm just waiting for the solder to flow down. It's sometimes taking its time, but we're all good. The other thing I wanted to talk about today as well, guys, is the Kepler build. So Brian has got the prototype for the Kepler board. That's on its way to him at the minute. He's going to be building that on Friday, all being well, with the Sirius prototype as well. My Sirius prototype will likely take me a little bit longer to get to me, just because I'm in the UK. But the Kepler is really exciting. It's a TKL. It uses the isolation gasket mount we saw on the J01, which is my personal board. You can see it up on the wall, just it's just behind the Zeal badge. It's just there. There it is. There you go quickly. Which is a true isolation mount, so it's completely isolating the plate via the use of a number of different isolation rubber sections from the case. So it's going to be a really interesting sound profile. And then to top all of that off, if that wasn't enough in terms of the layout and the options from a mounting perspective, it also has a LEMO connector as well for the power cable. So instead of using USB Mini or USB-C, it actually uses a LEMO cable directly to provide power and communication to the computer. So it's a really interesting looking board. Brian's going to be building that next Friday. I'm absolutely psyched to see how that looks, because it looks fantastic in terms of the board design itself. Solid brass base, so it's going to be really hefty. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, guys. So check that out on Friday if that's up your street. Also, shout out to UPass and best of luck to him later on today as he runs the Satisfaction 75 group bag. Might have already started actually just a couple of minutes ago. I'm not sure if I've missed that start or not. But luckily I already have my Satisfaction 75, so I don't need to worry about that too much. Not sure if it started 5 minutes ago or if it starts in an hour. I can't remember, guys, so do correct me if I'm wrong. So there isn't a Modo giveaway. It's the opportunity to buy Dixie's final Modo set at group buy price. So that's $140 for the base set. It's the final. Well, it starts in an hour. Okay, guys. Yeah. So it's the final set that Dixie's got in stock, and it's the opportunity to purchase that set. It's not a giveaway, just to be clear. So only enter if you're willing to pay. If you're not willing to pay, then please bear that in mind. Make sure that someone else who wants a set can pay. And basically it's mine and Dixie's way of making sure that someone can get hold of the set fairly without being the first to be on the store when it goes live, or without having to pay prices as well. It's a little bit fairer. Everyone gets a chance to enter if they're watching the stream. And then it's all based on RNG from there. Okay. Okay, almost there with this row, and then we've just got the bottom row to go, the spacebar row, which will be nice and easy to do. Just a few keys on that row. And then we can test the PCB from there, and then we can get to capping it and putting it into the actual board itself, which I'm really excited to do and see what that looks like. Ahab has sent his own key set as well, which is really nice of him. I'm excited to see what that looks like on the board. I'll get that out in a few minutes once we've tested the board. Then we'll put it together. We'll do a sound test, and at some point between all of that, we'll run the raffle for the opportunity to buy the Modo set as well. Okay, making some good progress now, guys. Just on the last row. If you guys have got any questions or anything else you want to ask, please just do tag me with the @TopClack. That enables me to just see it a little bit better, and I'll try and answer any questions, thoughts, queries, concerns, worries, guides, hints, tips that you've got. Jay, do you have anything to help with soldering fumes? I've got a fan on at the side of me, you can probably hear it. But in terms of the soldering fumes, I solder once a week. I don't smoke, so I'm not really, you know, one day of soldering fumes is less than the damage a single cigarette would do to me. So I'm not too worried about it. This is lead-free solder, so I'm completely comfortable that I'm okay. The only fumes I'm breathing in here is flux. It's not nice stuff, but it's not too terrible for me. There's not enough fumes for me to worry about on such a small amount of solder. I probably used about 10 centimeters across the whole board. There's not enough fumes in that to worry about my health. Clean this last bit. Going to double check this visually, make sure everything looks like it's soldered correctly. Make sure we've got nothing that looks untoward or terrible. Okay, all looking good there. Okay, everything looks alright, I think. Maybe just give this one a little reheat. Okay, that looks good. Okay, most hobbyist solder has lead in it. Yeah, this is lead free. We can't buy leaded solder in the EU anymore. Why is a PCB not made of brass? Conductivity, Dixie. I use 50-year-old extra leaded solder. Extra carcinogens, nice, yes. Yeah. J Buddy, lead-based soldering won't harm you, mate. The temps you're using don't even come close to set the lead in the areas you're breathing. Yeah, exactly. It's lead-free solder because that's all I can buy in the EU. We don't sell leaded solder here in the UK at the very least anymore. You can't buy it. It's technically not legal to buy, so I just use whatever I have to do. Just looking back at the opportunity to buy the Modo set, we're currently at 56 eligible users, so lots of people are in there. We'll be running that shortly. Right, I'm going to finish this and start another one. There we go, beer number 2. Should I get a Hecko FX888D or a TS100? Also, should I get extra tips? Go for the TS100 is my view. It's bearable for a hobbyist soldering. I solder once a week and I use a TS100 and I swear by it. If you want to spend a little bit more and you're going to solder, you know, a few days a week or a couple of days a week, or if you're building professionally rather than one board a week, then I would absolutely say go for the Hecko in that case. Yeah, absolutely, Talisman. I'm not smart enough for leaded solder, even if I ate it, to affect my level of intuition. J420 says Amazon sells lead solder. If it does in the UK, I'd be very surprised. I know they were working on taking it all off there quite a while back, and the last time I tried to buy some Kester on Amazon, it wasn't on there because they'd removed it, so I'd be very surprised if they do. Yeah, so some of the, you have to be careful as well, where it says it's PB37, it's actually not usually PB37, it's some other counterpart that's almost the same as lead. That's just one of those things I've seen before. So I've seen people do breakdowns of solder that says it's got lead in it. It says PB37, which is technically the right number for it in terms of percentage and the chemical periodic table of elements notation for it. But when they've actually done tests on it, it hasn't been leaded. So I think that's just one of those things. Do you only use brass wire for cleaning your tip? Yes, I use brass wire. It's just in here. That's full of brass wire. I use that for cleaning the tip all the time. Speaking of cleaning, I'm just going to clean my hands again now. Now that I've done some soldering and other stuff, and I'm likely to be touching brass again in a minute, I'm just going to clean my hands because I don't want to mark the brass in any way, shape or form. Yeah, I know that that's what it says, Tuxkey, that SNPB37 has lead in it. That's what the PB is, it's lead, or it's supposed to be, but when people have done chemical tests of it, it hasn't actually got lead in it. It's got some other fine substitute that enables it to melt at a lower temperature, and that's all that's used. No, the Dettol wipes, Dixie, they're just Dettol wipes. I just want to make sure I've got no contaminants or grease on my hands, that's all, so I want to make sure I've got completely clean hands. Okay, but now it's time to test the board, make sure everything's working correctly. So I've got a cable here. There we go, so everything's lighting up just okay. You can see that we've got the lights on here. I'm just going to grab switch hitter. You guys should be able to see that on the screen now. So let's test these keys and go through them one by one and make sure everything's happening as it should do. So everything looks okay from that top row. I'm just going to check the F keys down the side. So all the F keys work as well. Second row. Okay, so you go, bear in mind I've got it for the ISO layout, but you can see that that's looking fine just there. Caps lock's working as well. Try the enter key. There you go. You can see that's lighting up just properly. Yep. Shift. No other key. We're just going straight into the letters there. That's all looking correct. Up, down, left, and right, all working. Bottom row, we've got Control Win, space. I think that's set to FN, so I think we'll be all right on that. Okay, all of the keys are working. As I say, I think this one's set to FN. Let's see if we can get something to show up with something different. Yeah, okay, so nothing's showing up there with the Q and R and ER key, so I'm assuming there might be something. Oh, there we go, we can see proof there because it's turning the LED on and off, so there we go. So FN is actually working, so there we go. So everything's being verified on the board. We know that all of the keys now work, that should be working. Let's go onto the solder iron, we don't need that anymore. Remove a switch hitter. You'll need to flash the hex I gave you for it to make more sense. That's fine, I don't need it to make sense. Like the alphas are all fine to type with. I'll flash it before I ship it, but other than that, we'll be okay. Tasman says, I heard if you smuggle it into the UK and they catch you, they'll deport you to France as revenge for the 100 Years' War. Maybe. How is my tip after only brass wire? Any oxidization? No, but I solder every week and the tip's not that old, but it does need changing. I could probably do with another one. I think I've missed a couple of subs. So Soran2202, thank you very much for the resub there. Keybology, thank you very much. And Baby Feet as well, thank you very much. I appreciate those guys. Baby Feet says, get money. Abso-freaking-lutely, that's the way it should be. Okay guys, so now what we're going to do is, now we know that the PCB plate and all the switches are working, what we're going to do is we're going to put it inside the board. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the base ready just here, which is just a huge hunk of brass. Keep the screws X on, need those in a minute. That's the base there. I'm going to lift over the actual board itself. Gosh, that is so heavy. So one of the things I just want to call out as well, guys, I've already put in one of the, sorry, this was already in there, I haven't put this in, but there is already one of the diffusers in there for the lights. There is another one that you can add, so I'm just going to pop that in there as well, just to fill the diffuser up a little bit. If that needs to come out, you can push them back out from the other side. That just makes it nice and flush. And we're just going to lift this up. Drop this in place like so, and then what we're going to do is we're going to screw this in place from above. Find my screwdriver, there it is. Talisman's going to get ready with his whole spiel about when I say I'm going to screw these diametrically opposed. He's got a whole spiel of other options to say, so I'm sure he'll have that ready in a second. I can imagine that post is about to come. Do you prefer creams over Gator linears like the inks and tangerines? My favourite linear right now is the inks. I absolutely adore them. I think they're fantastic. I have to, oh gosh, this is where it's going to get really difficult, guys, here actually, because I have to try and prop up the board to solder it. Let me do it this way. Oh, sorry, to screw this in. So I'm going to try and lift this up, wedge it up there. Okay, so we've got the USB slot just causing a problem here. I'm just going to tuck that in nicely. Trying not to touch the board is the hardest thing. There we go. That's in properly. So I'm just wedging it up underneath the other side, just so that the board sits nice and flush. That's one screw in there. Going to come up diametrically opposed just up to the top side here. Okay, and then we can start to put the rest of these in as well. Conscious I'm doing this on an angle, so it's very difficult for me to see exactly where I'm going on some of these, but hopefully it'll be okay. Type Dreams Dean says, what about inks makes you prefer them over the Telios? I just prefer the look in terms of Telios versus them. The Telios are probably a tiny bit smoother out of the bag. Once lubed, that's minimal, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but I just prefer the look of them, that whole kind of smirky look. I really appreciate that on a board. I think it looks really nice. I also think they sound great as well. They are a slightly different material to the rest of the Gateron lineup and the Zelio lineup, so that's, you know, always worthwhile bearing in mind as well. J420 says, I'm using a 12-volt power supply for my TS100. Works for soldering switches, but how trouble desoldering lead-free stuff? Should I bother getting a 12-volt one? Yeah, you need to use a higher temperature than that. 380 for some of the OEM solder stuff won't be anywhere near as high as you need it to be. You probably need it to be nearly double that, I would have thought. Cthulhu as well also says try adding some leaded solder. If you just add a dab of leaded solder as well, that will help. Yeah. Okay, so that's that done. I'm just going to lower that down gently and try and get my finger out from underneath. What we're going to do now is pop the base back on. So this again is a solid lump of brass. Just make sure we get this the right way. Oof. Just try and clean this up nice and neatly first. Make sure there's no fingerprints on there. Get rid of any oils or greases. I mean, this will patina nicely over time anyway because it's that kind of material. But you don't want it to patina with fingerprints where you can help it. As you can see, it's got that nice Elephant Founders Edition logo on the bottom there. Okay. And then we're just going to screw this back together. So there's 4 screws that hold this in from the base. That's 1. That's 2. These are nice big thick screws, M3s. Use a proper screwdriver on these, which is always nice. Now the one thing I'm not going to do, Ahab, just in case you've got any problems with this, so it does have 4 rubber feet to put on, but these go over the screws. The last thing I want to do is put these on, you have to take them off, so I'm not going to put these on today, just in case there's anything you need to reflash or reset with the firmware or anything like that when you get hold of it. And then there's 2 more screws. I can't show you this, guys, but there's 2 screws that go in here and here, so we're just going to pop these in as well. And that just holds the base plate in position. And there we go. Let's put the rest of these spare screws back in the box. Bump pumps go over the screw, yeah, which is, it's kind of a bit of a design flaw if I'm honest. It's not something I like to see just because it makes taking the board apart a little bit more difficult. But yeah, it does mean that when it's not my build and I'm not confident that I've got everything I want on the build, that I just wouldn't do it that way. What I'm going to try and do is turn this over using another bit of foam, just to try and make sure we get everything nicely lined up without touching too much of the brass. Oh gosh, that's so heavy. Guys, you have no idea how heavy that is. There we go, still on a piece of brass. Just going to give it a clean up, make sure we've not got any fingerprints on it from this side, take off any grease and oils. Just make sure it's nice and clean for Ahab. He can put his own fingerprints on it when he's got it. Give that a nice dry off. There we go, guys. This is the brass E7 fully built with cream switches. I think they look great on there, as you can see. I have these fingerprints on here, were already on it when I got it. They're not mine. I'll try and clean them off as best as I can. I think you got these on yourself, dude. There we go. The good thing about this board is it's going to patina so nicely over time. It's going to look really good. 6-12 months time, the brass is going to look fantastic. It's going to look really nice. But it's stupidly heavy. But what we need to do now, guys, is put a key set on there. Now, Ahab has sent a key set along. This is what he sent, GMK Phantom. So he's asked me to use these keycaps on it today. He may not be getting this keycap set back because it's one I don't own, which is quite rare. And it's really nice, and I'm tempted to not let him have it back. Oh, we've got Nathan Kim back in chat. Apologies if you got lost in the stream earlier on, cutting off. It's going to be the best Phantom build out there. It's a stupidly heavy Phantom build. Yeah, Phantom's the only set I want as well, aftermarket as well. I'm not going to use any of the accent keys. I hope that's all right. I'm just going to build it with the standard keys on here. It's a really good case. One of the interesting things about it is the brass almost matches the yellow in Phantom perfectly. Don't need that actually. It just looks really nice. So the purple just pops. And the other thing as well, it looks black on here. It's not. I guarantee you guys, it is purple. It looks really nice in real life. I'll try and get it to angle to show off the light a little bit better in a bit. Anyone have a lead where I can get an S7 aftermarket Dixie? That's the only option now, I think. A great travel board. Yeah, this would be fantastic travel board. Nice white and black set. Yeah, I know it's my camera. It's crap. I do need to get a new camera when I know I've got a little bit of spare funds in the top Clack kitty. But the big news this week is that hopefully I'll be coming to Seattle and seeing some of you guys face to face for the first time. So we're looking at purchasing the tickets in a couple of weeks, making sure I can get out there, see you guys face to face, get to meet some people, get to meet some folks, bring some boards as well, probably the JO1, anything else anyone would like to see, maybe 2 or 3 boards. You couldn't bludgeon someone with it, Tasman, because you couldn't lift it. You couldn't wield it because it's too heavy. That's the thing. It's absolutely ridiculous heavy. It's solid brass and it weighs about 10 kilograms. I want to say that that it was about $1,000 in group buy, something like that. It's really expensive and really heavy. What a king of a board, says Gator on. Yeah, it's absolutely stonkingly stupendous, is this board. We've got stepped caps. There is a stepped cap in this somewhere. I did see it. There it is. Dean, yes, I'm potentially going to, or I'm pretty certain I'm going to go to Seattle for the Seattle meetup. So I don't think that's California, if I'm right, but it's not far away. And we're going to to that, yeah. Is it really the true colours? So this camera up here probably picks up the colours a little bit better. I'm hoping it doesn't look black. Oh, it just looks black. It's really difficult, guys. What about under here? Can you guys see that that is purple? Can you tell? It's hard to get it to show. I don't have anything I can try and trick it. Maybe if I do it that way, it'll make it a little bit more obvious. But it is really purple. It's so hard to photograph as well. I was trying to photograph it earlier on. It's just so difficult to get a good photograph of. But it is really purple. It's really close to what the what it should be. Imagine dropping the board. Probably going to break the house before the key. Yeah, it'll drop through the floor and it'll land in my kitchen, which is directly beneath where I am right now, which would be interesting to say the least. Great purple. Yeah, it kind of is a great purple. Yeah, it's so difficult to get the light right to show it. It looks like white on black, but I guarantee you guys it's not. Up close and in person, it looks really nice. It's a proper plummy purple colour. It's genuinely lovely. Got a meeting, so I missed the end of the stream and the giveaway. Best of luck and nice build. Thank you very much. What do I use to display my keyboard? Shelves, that's what's just up here. These are just shelves. I had them custom made. They're very similar to ones you can get from IKEA and places like that. But I had a local joiner knock them up for me. There is a meetup in Seattle. Yes, there is a meetup in Seattle. That's where I'll be going with Brian. The 27th of July. Try putting this on a shelf. Yeah, I do. So the JO1, which is here, is a little bit lighter. I say a little bit. It's just under 7 kilograms, and this is just over 10. So it's considerably lighter. But that's fine on the shelf. I've lost the right shift key here. Oh, I'll find it in a second. 1.5U. I'm just going to guess, Ahab, that you want Control, Alt, Spacebar, and then Alt and Control again. I'm wondering if it's in the actual add-on kit. Nope. So where's the shift key? Where is the right shift key? Oh, it's here. That's why. Looking at the completely wrong spot. And then we need the FN key, which is just here. Put the arrows in. The one thing I dislike about this set are the accent colours. I'm not quite sure that the accent colours work. The novelties are really cool, so you guys can see the novelties just here. These I really like, but I'm not a fan of these keys personally. They're just too yellow for me. They're a bit banana yellowy, but the rest of the set's lovely. Going to check on that backspace key. It's looking a tiny bit wonky. How's that? There we go. That's much better. Okay, just have a look at that end key in a second. It looks like it's slightly twisted. I think it's a stabilizer. I'm just going to put some random mods here. I don't know what you've got on your key map, but we'll just go with that for now, just to get the right keys in place. Okay. Oh, you want me to get the JO1 and show it next to it? I can do that, Ahab, that's not a problem. I can't move it, I can't slide it on the desk. Let me grab the JO1, guys. So this is the JO1. So this is my custom board. As you can see, it's a similar layout in terms of it being 65%. But it's got an extra column here, and we've still got fairly wide blockers. If I put it next to Ahab's board, even though I've got all of that, you can see that his board is still wider, even though I've got an extra column compared to what he's got on here. These slabs at the side are absolutely huge. So this is the size of a TKL. If I lay this on top gently, so it's not touching, you can see that there's a gap all the way around the sides. It's not really showing up very well, but there is a gap all the way around. It easily fits inside it. There we go, and it is significantly heavy. It's also harder to lift, so the JO1's actually got like a ledge all the way around, so I can get my hands under it to pick it up, which makes it really easy to pick up. This big boy doesn't. It's just flush on all the sides. So as you can see, that's what it's like all the way around. But that's what those 2 holes were, 4 screws as well. Ahab. So there we go. Oh gosh. So that's it next to the JO1. There we go. That's a thick board. It's absolutely ridiculously thick, guys. It's stupidly thick. You only use the fleur-de-lis novelty. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Accents would look good with the brass, I think. It's just too yellow. It doesn't show up on stream, but it's just too yellow. It doesn't quite work. It looks much better with the purple. When's the giveaway? Do you know what? We'll run it now. Actually, we're going to run it right now. So if you haven't already entered, it's not a giveaway as such. It's the opportunity to enter to buy the last set from Dixie Mecha Group by price. That's $140 for Modo. We're going to run it in about a minute. So if you want to get in, you want to do exclamation mark Modo, but it does mean you have to buy the set. It's not a giveaway. It's the opportunity to buy the last set available. Okay. Right now we've got 61 people eligible. I'll just shout out a few of these, scroll through the list. So we've got Ali28, Ashardalon, Damage Point, Existentially Yours, Harry Plays, J420, LMNO, Langlandia. There's quite a lot of people. Rice Steam still in there, Solid Snake Drive, Straight Classy, Tay Type, Mr. Nathan Kim himself. I thought you'd already got Modern Dolch, but okay. WizBlue, Apocalypse, and Yankar. Remember, this isn't a giveaway. This is the opportunity to buy the Modern Dolch set. If you don't want to buy it, please don't enter. But it's $140, shipped tomorrow by Dixie Mech directly. He will reach out to the winner straight after the show. Okay, so guys, we're going to run it now. I'm going to roll it. First name that comes up will be the winner. So, drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Do remember, this isn't to win the set. This is to buy the set. It's the opportunity to buy the last set. So bear that in mind. And please don't enter if you're not going to buy it. You want to see Modern Dolch? This is my personal set of Modern Dolch. I don't have the set Dixie's giving away, obviously, because he's in America with it and I'm here. But this is my Modern Dolch set on my Brutal 60. As you can see, it's a lovely classic looking set. You can go with coloured mods, or you can go with standard mods, whatever you want to do. Multiple choices way to run it. It looks great actually with the pink salmon kit from 9009 as well. So there we go. Oh, you went to show the stream screen. Okay, let me grab a capture of that so you guys can see me do the giveaway and roll it. It will show up straight away in thingy. Let me add a media source. Add. Window capture. Give me a second, guys. That one there. Okay, guys, so this is the screen. You should be able to see it. What I'll do is I'll scroll through this quite slowly so you can see if you're in. Once I've scrolled through the list, then we'll be doing the giveaway. Let me just move this down so you can still see me. There we go. So I'm going to scroll through this list in the centre. If you want to be in, this is to buy it. It's $140, so remember that. That's key. So I'll just scroll through this nice and slowly so you guys can have a check, see if you're in there. And then I'll click on roll it in a second as well. Okay, so lots of people have entered. 69 eligible users right now. Don't want to go too fast, so do keep looking out for your name. It is in alphabetical order. It is to buy the set, remember, not to win the set. You do have to buy it if you win. So please don't enter if you don't intend on paying for the set. Okay, lots of people in there. Okay, so I hope that helps, guys. That is the list. Still at 69 eligible users. I'm not going to run through it again. But we're going to roll it. We're going to give the giveaway. So, drum roll, please. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Teori is the winner, following since the April 26, 2019, so a couple of weeks. So there we go. Thank you very much. Dixie will be in touch with you. I'm going to copy and send all the details across to Dixie now. Let me just copy that. And open the link to their profile as well. So I'll share that with Dixie. Before I lose it. There we go. Dixie's now got the details at Theory, so congratulations. He'll be in touch so you can buy that set. I'm going to remove this now. And then get back to the end of the stream. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So that was fun, guys. I hope that was enjoyable for you. Jay following Overwatch League, some good gaming taste. There's Top Clack Discord, not my Top Clack, not mine. I'm afraid, guys. So there we go. So thank you very much again to Dixie Mech for doing this, giving us the opportunity to buy that last set. Mr. Petrov, thanks, Jan. Stop calling me Jan. I see what you do, dude. I see it. I see it. Yeah, it's probably Brian following anything else. So there we go. That's a giveaway. So congratulations, Theory. Type Dream says whatever. I didn't want Modern Dodge anyway. Looks at shoes. I'm going to do the typing test now. So we'll get to listen to what this board sounds like, and then we'll finish up the stream. So if there's any more questions you guys have got, the music's gone on mute. We're now going to do a bit of a typing test. I'm going to have a look at this enter off stream because it just looks like a little bit crooked. I think it's a stabilizer because it clicks as I was putting it on. So I think it's a stabilizer issue, but we'll fix that. But here we go with the sound test. So no rattle on the stabilizers, that's good. Okay, let's go with a bit of typing. There we go, guys. Yeah, those small hands. Yeah, you can laugh at my typing if you want. I think this sounds really nice and clear, actually. It sounds a lot better than I thought it would. So one of the might as well tape up their thumbs. They're just in the way. Absolutely, yeah. I can't type with my thumbs. I am trying to learn, Dixie. So bugger off. Stop trying to make fun of me. It's just one of those things, guys. I type the way I type. It's fine. It works for me. You don't need to worry about it. But in terms of the sound, it's a lot cleaner than I thought. One of the things that usually happens with a lot of brass builds is they tend to get a lot of ping because brass is quite pingy. If I tap this, it's really solid now. It's put together. But before, when I was tapping the case right at the beginning of the stream, you could hear a bit of ping rattling through. And I did worry if that would carry on into the sound of the board itself. But just because of the sheer density, the amount of brass, it seems to stop a lot of that. I can't hear a lot of case ping. Even when I'm really hammering it, it sounds really solid and thunky, so it's really nice. What else did anyone say? With that index finger space. Oh, guys, shut up. I'm not even going to entertain you with that. Move the small hands. Sounds great. So that's how a big brass brick sounds. It does sound really good. These creams sound great. The board sounds better than I expected. It is high pitched. You're right, Talisman. It's still got a high pitch, especially if I compare it to something like the polycarb Singer. But then it is metal compared to plastic, so that happens. So there we go. So yeah, it feels great as well. The creams are lovely and smooth. Remsky's done a fantastic job on lubing these. I'm really impressed with his lubing skills. A lot of people say they can lube switches really well, and then I try them and I'm not so impressed. There's a couple of people who do impress me. Chris Swires, West Foxtrot, they taught me how to lube. Both of them feel fantastic. Some other people, I'm not going to mention any names, but I've tried their switches, not been impressed. But Remsky is well up there. These feel fantastic and they're so consistent as well. All of the switches feel great. What did Remsky lube them with? 3204, so these are lubed with 3204. I've never even spoken to Remsky, so I'm not shilling him as such. I'm just really impressed with these switches. I don't think I've ever interacted with him, but yeah, I'm really impressed with his services. Again, just want to make sure I don't have any grease on my hand before I touch the board. It resonates a lot, but in kind of a good way. There isn't any ping in there as Apocalypse, and I know it might sound different over the stream to what it sounds here, but if there is any, it's very minimal. I think it'll be really easy to fix if there is anything in there that Ahab's unhappy with. But I wouldn't be unhappy with this board on my desk. I think typing wise it sounds great. I think I'd struggle to move it if I wanted to. It needs a forklift truck, but other than that, it's really good. There's no string ping. I think you're right, it's just the brass itself. It's just the sound of brass. I don't think you're getting any case ping or spring ping or anything like that. It's just the sound of the board because of the material it's made from, which is what you want to hear, right? That's what we're trying to do this for. That's why polycarb sounds different. We know that gives a different tone to aluminium boards and clearly brass boards as well. I think if you add PVD and things on there, they've got reflective surfaces that does reflect sound as well, which a lot of people don't realise. So there's a lot more interesting stuff there as well. Your heavy six with the brass backplate does the exact same thing. Fair enough, there you go. I think it's just the material, it's a property of the material we're hearing there, but it is way less pingy than I expected. Yeah, Mr. Petrov, good shout out. Satisfaction 75 group buy starts in 17 minutes at Cannon Keys. I already have mine. This is my Satisfaction 75, so there you go, guys. Go, boxes are falling over the side of me. Whoops, that's an LZ on the floor. Whoops. So go check it out, guys, if you are interested in that in a few minutes. But yeah, lovely board with my knob, as you can see. There we go. And I don't know if the weight design's still secret. I don't think it is anymore. I'm going to assume it's not. And I might be risking my friendship with Upas here, but I'm going to show the weight because I didn't think it was secret anymore. But that's the weight that I've got on my board here, as you can see. There we go. That's the weight design. Oh, the weight's been on his IG. Cool. I don't feel bad about showing you guys. I know he was really uptight about me showing it off on stream and showing it some dust on the board, showing it off at the local meetup I had in the UK a little while ago. So there we go. Oh, the final version of his sword is closer to the chest. Oh, well, mine's even more special then. Mine's much more special because mine's one off. But there we go. Did you infill that? No, this is just standard. You can see there it's just lasered into the brass, not infilled at all. There's not enough depth to infill that, I don't think. I struggle to get the infill on it, but it looks lovely. There we go. So there we go. Go buy one of these, guys, if you want one. They are really good. I've got 2 boards from UPass now and extremely happy with both. But the board of the day is this one from Ahab. Let's just have a really quick look if I can find my keycap puller. At this enter key because it is slightly off center. It doesn't look to be the switch, it could be the stabilizer. Well, I think I know what the problem is. There's a lot of movement. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a lot of movement in the top housing. I don't know if that's visible on stream, but there's a lot of movement in the top housing on that switch. I think that might be what it is. If there's another switch that doesn't have that issue, I will I'll try and replace it for that. If not, I'll try and put a switch film in there for you. I have to just try and tighten that up a little bit because I think that's what's causing the issue with the enter key. There we go. It's pretty much straight now. Well, the camera doesn't pick it up, but it is pretty much straight there. So yeah, if a screen switch film won't help, okay, I'll have a look and we'll fix that off stream. But it could be just that, yeah, it might be that the stem's just a little bit different. But Ahab, I think that key there is not due to the stabilizer. I think it's due to the switch. So I'll have a look and see what I can do to try and rectify that. Even if I have to move the switch and make the switch not level to make the keycap level, I will do that for you as well before I pack it up. Okay, so guys, I don't think there's any other questions. Talisman Solution gifted another tier 1 sub, but this time to Audacious Ahab, so the owner of this board. So well done, Ahab. I think we've got rid of the fingerprints here as well. It looks a lot cleaner now. You missed the sound test. Sorry, Zui. Here we go. There you go, little sound test, that's all I'm doing. It does sound really good. It's genuinely lovely. You hear a lot of the brass properties. It's better than I thought it would be. I was worried about it being solid brass being pinged, but it doesn't get that. Sorry if it drops frames. It says I've not dropped any frames in over 2 hours. But that's the thing since I started the stream the second time. An hour and 10 minutes, sorry, when I look at this. No frames dropped in an hour and 10 minutes. 10 frames dropped prior to that in the previous section, so I do apologise, guys. But yeah. Okay, I think we're going to call it there. There's nothing else for me to do on stream. I'm just going to say cheers, guys. Have a beer. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evenings. And I'll see you on the show on Thursdays, guys. But see you later. Take care.